What if I told you that most people alive today are not truly living? They are surviving, reacting, escaping, numbing themselves through one more scroll, one more distraction, one more excuse. Not because they are stupid, not because they are weak, not because life gave them less talent or less opportunity, but because they never built the one force that keeps a human being steady in chaos. Mental strength. Look honestly at your life. When the alarm rings, what happens first? Do you rise with intention, or do you negotiate with your own weakness? You hit snooze, you reach for your phone, you let strangers enter your mind before your own thoughts have even formed, and before your feet touch the ground, your peace is already gone. You compare your life to edited illusions. You envy people you do not know. You crave approval from people who would not recognize you in a crowded room. Then you ask yourself, why do I feel behind? Why do I feel fragile? Why does every small thing seem to shake me? Because no one taught you what comfort really does. We chase comfort as if it were peace. We chase ease as if it were freedom. We chase convenience as if it were happiness. And yet, people have never been more overstimulated, more restless, more emotionally weak, more unable to sit alone with their own mind. We avoid pain constantly, but we still suffer. Only now, we suffer in softer, quieter, more humiliating ways. We suffer through hesitation, through comparison, through dependency, through the inability to endure boredom, silence, rejection, or discomfort. That is the brutal truth. Comfort does not always heal. Sometimes it weakens. It makes you softer where life demands strength. It trains you to panic at inconvenience. It teaches you to mistake ease for safety, and safety for a meaningful life. All while your discipline fades, your courage shrinks, and your real potential waits in silence. But struggle, when faced consciously, does something comfort never can. It hardens your character. It sharpens your mind. It reveals a strength that comfort can never produce. Not borrowed strength, not performative strength, real strength. The kind that remains when praise disappears, when plans collapse, when life turns against you, when nobody comes to save you. The ancient Stoics understood this more than 2,000 years ago, long before modern noise took over the human mind. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who carried immense responsibility through war, plague, betrayal, and personal loss, wrote words that still strike like steel. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Do not just admire that. Understand it. That is not decorative wisdom. That is survival wisdom. That is the mindset of a man who stood inside chaos without letting chaos enter his soul. Stoicism does not promise an easy life. It offers something better. A mind that does not break every time life gets hard. In this video, we are going deep into 8 brutal Stoic laws that can change how you think, how you suffer, how you respond, and how you rise. This is not empty motivation, not something you hear, nod at, and forget tomorrow. This is a confrontation with your weakness, your excuses, your emotional dependency, and the habits that keep you small. And if you stay with this, really stay with it, one of these laws will hit a part of you that has needed truth for a very long time. So as we move through this, pay attention to the law that exposes you most, and when it does, leave it in the comments. Now let us begin. Number 1. Embrace discomfort like a friend. We are trained from childhood to run from pain. Avoid it. Delay it. Distract yourself from it. Make life easier, softer, safer. But the Stoics taught the exact opposite. Do not run from discomfort. Move toward it consciously, not because suffering is noble, not because pain is the goal, but because chosen discomfort trains you for the pain life will bring anyway. Think carefully about your greatest season of growth. Was it born in comfort, in convenience, in a season where everything obeyed your plans? Or did it come when life cornered you, stripped away your illusions, and forced you to decide what kind of person you really were? You know the answer. Growth does not happen when life feels easy. It happens when your comfort is interrupted and something stronger is demanded from you. It happens in the fire. Not because fire is pleasant, because fire reveals. Most people do not fear pain. They fear exposure. They fear discovering how undisciplined they are, how dependent they are, how quickly they panic when life stops cooperating. That is why discomfort matters. It removes the mask. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than most. He lived through war, disease, betrayal, political pressure, and personal grief. Yet he kept returning to the same inner law. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That is not just a beautiful Stoic line. That is a rule for becoming strong. The obstacle is not always blocking your growth. Very often, it is your growth. The delay tests your patience. The rejection trains your ego. The uncertainty strengthens your trust in your own mind. The difficulty hardens your discipline. Modern life tells you to remove friction from everything. Find the shortcut, skip the boredom, avoid the hard conversation. Choose comfort, choose convenience. Choose whatever feels easier. But Stoicism says, train while it is voluntary, because pain is coming whether you prepare or not. That cold shower your mind keeps resisting is not about water. It is about authority. Who decides your actions, your principles, or your preferences? That difficult conversation you keep postponing is not just uncomfortable. It is the gate between weakness and freedom. That workout you want to skip the moment it gets hard is not just physical strain. It is a mirror. It shows you how quickly you retreat when effort stops feeling pleasant. Seneca understood this deeply. He practiced voluntary hardship on purpose. He slept on rough bedding. He wore plain clothing. He ate coarse, simple food. Not because he hated life, because he wanted to know whether he could remain steady without luxury. He wanted to train himself to say, "Is this what I feared?" That is the brilliance of voluntary hardship. You experience lack before lack is forced on you. You practice simplicity before life strips things away. You meet discomfort before discomfort arrives uninvited. And because of that, you stop being fragile. This is where most people misunderstand pain. Not all pain is useful. Not all suffering is sacred. Stoicism is not about romanticizing misery. It is about using chosen difficulty to build inner command. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your training partner. It exposes your habits. It reveals your attachments. It shows you where your mind is weak, where your discipline leaks, where your identity depends too much on ease. And if you let it, it strengthens all of that. That is why discomfort is a gift most people keep rejecting. They avoid small discomforts today, then collapse under larger discomforts tomorrow. They cannot sit in silence, so they become dependent on noise. They cannot tolerate boredom, so they become slaves to stimulation. They cannot endure rejection, so they live for approval. They cannot face hard truth, so they build a life around avoidance, and that life looks comfortable on the outside but feels weak on the inside. When was the last time you chose something difficult without being forced? When did you last stay with boredom instead of grabbing your phone? When did you last tell the truth when lying would have been easier? When did you last do something that frightened your ego but strengthened your character? If you cannot remember, that is your signal. Start now. Choose one small discomfort today. Not tomorrow. Today. A cold shower. A silent walk without your phone. An honest conversation you have been delaying. Finishing the work after your feelings tell you to stop. Do it without drama. Do it without negotiation. Do it because you are training your mind to obey what is right, not what is comfortable. From this moment on, see discomfort differently. Not as punishment, as preparation, not as an interruption, as an invitation, not as proof that life is against you, as proof that life is giving you a chance to grow stronger. Think of discomfort like a sparring partner. It may bruise your pride. It may exhaust you. It may knock you down. But every round teaches you something comfort never could. The strongest people you have ever admired were not built by ease. Athletes who trained in obscurity. Leaders who endured pressure without collapsing. Builders, artists, and entrepreneurs who kept showing up through failure, embarrassment, and uncertainty. They did not become formidable because life was gentle. They became formidable because they stopped asking life to be gentle. That is the Stoic advantage. You do not wait for hardship to find you weak. You train early. You train quietly. You train while you still have a choice. And when the storm arrives, as it always does, you are not shocked by it. You already know what friction feels like. You already know how to stay standing when life applies pressure. That is freedom. The fire does not destroy you. It reveals what weakness must leave and what strength was already there. Number 2, stop being owned by your emotions. How many times this week did your emotions decide what kind of day you were going to have? Someone spoke disrespectfully and your peace vanished. One plan went wrong and your whole attitude collapsed. You felt tired, so you abandoned discipline. You felt discouraged, so you delayed the work. You felt hurt, so you handed your mind to the pain. Be honest. How much of your life is being directed by temporary feelings? This is not a small problem. If your emotions control your choices, then your life is being steered by whatever feeling happens to arrive first. And that is not freedom. The Stoics were ruthless about this truth. If you are ruled by anger, fear, envy, resentment, or impulse, you are not in command. You are being commanded. Epictetus, who knew real slavery with brutal intimacy, said something unforgettable. Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. They can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by them. Sit with that. That driver in traffic did not steal your peace for the whole morning. He took 10 seconds. You gave him 2 hours. That rude comment online did not deserve your joy. That breakup did not deserve your identity. That one moment of disrespect did not deserve control over your entire inner world. But you gave it control, not because the event was all-powerful, because your reaction was unexamined. That is the difference most people never learn. Stoicism does not say, feel nothing. It does not ask you to become cold, numb, or emotionally dead. It asks something harder. Feel clearly, but do not obey blindly. An emotion is a signal, not a command. Anger can speak, fear can visit, sadness can arrive. But none of them gets to rule your character unless you surrender the throne. That is what weakens people. Not emotion itself, identification with emotion. The moment they feel anger, they become anger. The moment they feel fear, they become fear. The moment they feel doubt, they stop moving as if doubt had spoken final truth. But a feeling is not a verdict. It is a passing state. Sometimes useful, sometimes misleading, always temporary. Think about the difference between a child and a disciplined adult. The child feels frustration and explodes, feels disappointment and collapses, feels desire and demands satisfaction now. The disciplined person still feels all of it, but there is distance, a pause, a space, a refusal to let the first inner impulse become the final outward action. That space changes everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That is one of the most liberating ideas you will ever hear. The event is not always the prison. Your interpretation is often the prison. The story you tell yourself shapes the intensity of what you suffer. A delay becomes disrespect. A criticism becomes humiliation. A setback becomes proof that you are failing. A silence becomes rejection. And soon, you are not reacting to reality anymore. You are reacting to the meaning your wounded mind attached to reality. This is why self-mastery matters. Because without it, every mood feels like truth. Every reaction feels justified. Every emotional wave feels like something you must obey. But once you see clearly, everything changes. You realize you can feel anger without speaking in anger. You can feel fear without kneeling to it. You can feel sadness without building a home in it. You can feel doubt and still take the next disciplined step. That is strength, not emotional suppression, emotional authority. And yes, it is uncomfortable, because it removes a convenient excuse. You can no longer say, "He ruined my day." "She made me furious. That comment destroyed my mood." No. The trigger came from outside, but the reaction was still yours. And that is hard to accept, but it is also empowering. Because if the reaction belongs to you, then the power to change that reaction also belongs to you. That is where freedom begins. Try this the next time something pulls at you. Pause. Do not answer immediately. Do not defend yourself immediately. Do not post, text, retaliate, or explain immediately. Pause. Take one deep breath, then ask, "What exactly am I feeling?" Ask again, "What story am I telling about this moment?" Then ask the hardest question. Is this feeling useful in the form I'm about to express it? If the answer is yes, use it with discipline. If the answer is no, release the performance. Release the impulse. Release the need to make your emotion everyone else's problem. This is not weakness. This is mastery. The strongest people are not those who never feel deeply. They are those who can feel deeply without becoming unstable. When you stop being owned by every emotion, your mind becomes clearer. Your reactions become cleaner. Your presence becomes calmer. Your energy stops leaking into useless conflict, and people notice. Because in a chaotic world, stability is rare. A person who cannot be easily provoked, easily baited, easily manipulated, or easily derailed has a kind of power most people do not understand. It is quiet power, but it is undeniable. Real growth begins when you stop treating every feeling like an instruction. Number 3, stop expecting fairness. Life owes you nothing. That sentence offends the ego, but it frees the soul. One of the fastest ways to suffer deeply in this world is to keep expecting reality to behave according to your sense of fairness. You work harder than everyone around you, and someone less disciplined gets rewarded first. You love honestly and still get left behind. You do the right thing again and again, and life does not hand you the outcome you thought you earned. Then the resentment comes. This is not fair. I did everything right. Why is this happening to me? That question has broken many people. Not because pain is always avoidable, because expectation makes pain heavier. This is where Stoicism becomes brutal. Fairness is not a law of the universe. It is a human desire, a beautiful one, but still a desire. The universe does not promise equal outcomes. It does not arrange events around your effort. It does not protect good people from disappointment. Marcus Aurelius knew this well. He dealt with betrayal, deception, disloyalty, and injustice inside the very world he was responsible to govern. And still, he did not build his peace on the hope that life would act fairly. He built it on character. That is the shift. Average people attach their peace to how they are treated. Stoics attach their peace to how they choose to respond. That is why expecting fairness can become a trap, because hidden inside it is entitlement. A quiet belief that because you tried, life must reward you. Because you were sincere, people must stay. Because you were good, pain must pass you by. But life does not work that way. And the longer you argue with that, the more bitter you become. Bitterness grows where entitlement survives. That is why so many people become emotionally stuck. They are not only hurt by what happened, they are hurt by the fact that reality refused to match the version they believed they deserved. That second wound is often deeper than the first. The Stoics understood this. They expected difficulty. They expected change. They expected loss. They expected people to disappoint them sometimes. Not because they were cynical, because they wanted to meet reality prepared, not offended. That is wisdom. The person who expects life to be easy is shattered by friction. The person who expects life to be fair is poisoned by resentment. But the person who expects life to be unpredictable becomes steadier, calmer, and harder to break. This does not mean you approve of injustice. It does not mean you stop caring about what is right. It means you stop making your inner stability dependent on whether the world behaves properly. That is a huge difference. You can still fight for justice, still speak truth, still defend what matters, but you do it from strength, not emotional dependency, from principle, not wounded entitlement. Seneca wrote, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage, especially when life does not reward you the way you hoped, especially when your goodness does not protect you, especially when you are forced to keep walking through outcomes you never would have chosen." This is the moment most people break. They wait for fairness. They wait for recognition. They wait for life to finally apologize. And while they wait, they become weaker, more bitter, more passive, more dependent on circumstances they cannot command. The Stoic does something else. He stops negotiating with reality. He sees clearly what happened. He feels the sting. He names the loss. Then he asks the only question that still gives him power. What now? Not, why me? What now? That question restores dignity, because it turns suffering into movement. This is where radical responsibility begins, not in blaming yourself for everything, but in refusing to hand over your future to what was unfair in your past. You use pain as fuel. You sharpen your skills. You deepen your discipline. You become so inwardly grounded that disappointment cannot define you. You stop waiting for the world to treat you right before you decide to become strong. Not because everything is always your fault, but because it is always your responsibility to move. Life does not ask whether you feel ready. It only asks what you will do next. You do not control how life strikes you, but you always control what you become through it. And that response, steady, clear, unpanicked, is what makes you hard to break. Fairness is never promised, but freedom is earned, one deliberate choice at a time. Number 4, focus on what you can control, let go of the rest. The Stoics believed your true power lives in a very small and very precise place, inside your control. Everything outside that circle can influence your life, but it should not govern your mind. That is the trap most people fall into. They try to control other people's opinions. They try to control how quickly success comes. They try to control whether life feels certain, predictable, safe, and fair. And because they keep reaching for what was never theirs, they become exhausted. Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." That sounds simple, but lived deeply, it can change your life. Let us make it clear. What is within your control, your thoughts, your choices, your effort, your habits, your values, your response to what happens. What is outside your control? Other people's approval, other people's behavior, chance, timing, the weather, the economy, the past, the future. This distinction is everything. Most anxiety begins when the mind tries to manage something it was never meant to command. You cannot control the weather, but you can prepare for the storm. You cannot control whether people understand you, but you can control whether you speak truthfully and act with dignity. You cannot control what the economy does, but you can control how much you learn, how wisely you save, and how seriously you prepare. That shift changes everything. Because the moment you stop spending energy on the uncontrollable, you recover strength for the only place where action matters: your own conduct. Imagine a ship in violent water. The waves are rising. The wind is ruthless. People on board are panicking. The Stoic does not waste breath shouting at the sea. He grips the wheel. That is what self-mastery is. Not denying the storm, not pretending difficulty does not exist, but refusing to abandon your post within it. That is why some people remain clear while others unravel. It is not because their lives are easier. It is because their attention is disciplined. They know where their authority ends, and because of that, their peace returns. This is one of the hardest lessons for the modern mind. People waste enormous energy rehearsing conversations that have not happened, fearing outcomes they cannot predict, and resenting realities they cannot reverse. All of that drains life. Not because concern is always irrational, but because obsession without action is spiritual leakage. So here is a practice you can begin today. Whenever your mind spirals, stop and ask one question. Is this within my control? If it is, act with full sincerity. If it is not, release your grip. Not because it does not matter, but because gripping harder will not make it yours. That is not passivity, that is wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Not later, not when life finally becomes easier. Now, because the moment you stop trying to govern what is not yours, you become steadier, calmer, cleaner, less scattered. And inside that discipline, something powerful appears, a center, a quiet place in you the world cannot easily move." Number 5. Practice voluntary hardship to build unbreakable will. We live in a world that worships convenience. Food without waiting, entertainment without effort, pleasure without discipline, answers without reflection, comfort without limit. And because everything is designed to remove friction, people are becoming weaker in places that matter most. Their patience is weaker. Their restraint is weaker. Their attention is weaker. Their will is weaker. The Stoics understood that comfort, when constantly obeyed, creates fragility. So they did something most people avoid. They trained difficulty on purpose. Not because suffering was sacred, not because pain made them superior, but because voluntary hardship teaches the mind that comfort is optional and character is not. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest food, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" That is not self-punishment, that is conditioning. That is a person training himself to see clearly how much of fear is fantasy. Most people today never test themselves. They panic at hunger, they panic at silence, they panic at boredom, they panic at inconvenience, they panic when life stops entertaining them, and when real hardship comes, they have no relationship with discomfort, so they collapse quickly. The Stoic does not wait for crisis to discover his weaknesses. He studies them early. That is why voluntary hardship matters. It is not random suffering, it is deliberate training, a system, a ritual, a way of teaching your body and mind that ease is not required for peace. You do not build willpower by admiring discipline. You build it by practicing obedience to what is right when comfort argues against it. That might mean fasting for a day, not because food is bad, but because appetite should not be your master. It might mean taking a cold shower, not because cold water is magical, but because hesitation should not decide your actions. It might mean waking early to train when your body begs for another hour. It might mean saying no to luxury you can afford, just to remember you do not need it to remain whole. These acts seem small, but that is why they are powerful. Small acts repeated become inner architecture. They teach your mind, I can endure, I can obey principle, I can do what is necessary without waiting to feel like it. That is how will is actually built, quietly, repetitively, without performance. Marcus Aurelius ruled through war, disease, betrayal, and pressure that would crush most people. And yet his writing remained measured, lucid, composed. Why? because hardship did not arrive as an alien force. He had already accepted that difficulty belongs to life, and what is expected does not paralyze the same way. So stop asking only, how can I make life easier? Ask the stronger question, how can I become less dependent on ease? That question changes people. Practice being hungry without panic. Practice being bored without escape. Practice being alone without reaching for noise. Practice being tired without surrendering your standards. Because one day, life will demand more from you than comfort ever prepared you for, and on that day, the training will matter. Here is a challenge. For the next 30 days, choose one form of voluntary hardship. Not something dramatic, something deliberate. A cold shower each morning. No phone for the first hour after waking. Walking when driving would be easier. Reading instead of defaulting to distraction. Sitting in silence for 10 minutes without escape. Do it consistently and watch what happens. You begin to trust yourself. You stop negotiating with every impulse. You stop needing perfect conditions. You stop worshipping mood. And that trust, earned through action, is more valuable than motivation. Because motivation speaks, training remains. If this is reaching you, stay with me. We are not talking about inspiration, we are talking about transformation. And if one of these laws has exposed something in you, leave it in the comments. Let us keep going. Number 6. Detach from outcomes, fall in love with the process. Most people are taught to worship results. Get the promotion, build the business, hit the number, earn the praise, be seen, be chosen, be successful. And because they become obsessed with outcomes, they start living in a permanent state of tension. They cannot enjoy the work. They cannot stay present. They cannot think clearly. Why? Because attachment creates desperation, and desperation ruins judgment. The Stoics offered a harder, freer path. Detach from outcomes. Devote yourself to process, not because results do not matter, but because results are never fully yours. Your effort is yours. Your discipline is yours. Your honesty is yours. Your attention is yours. The outcome is influenced by too much to become the foundation of your peace. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. That includes results. Look at how people suffer. They go to the gym for 2 weeks, see no visible change, and quit. They start creating, receive little attention, and decide they are untalented. They pour themselves into a relationship, it ends, and they conclude they were not enough. This is what happens when worth becomes attached to outcomes. Fragility follows, because if the result fails, the self collapses with it. But what if you fell in love with the craft itself? The repetition, the practice, the sharpening, the daily return. What if the reward was not only success, but the person the work was shaping? That changes everything. The writer writes not only to be read, but to think more clearly. The athlete trains not only to win, but to build command over body and mind. The builder builds not only for applause, but for the dignity of creating something real. That is the Stoic path. You stop begging the future to validate the present. You return to the work. And here is the paradox. The less desperate you become for outcomes, the better you often perform. Because you are calmer, more present, more precise. The person addicted to results is rarely stable enough to do excellent work, but the person devoted to the process can improve relentlessly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." That is mastery. Do not drag tomorrow into today's labor. Do today's labor well. If you are a writer, write to honor the craft. If you are an athlete, train to honor the discipline. If you are building something, build because careful effort is worthy in itself. The moment you tie your worth to applause, recognition, or external success, you become unstable. One bad result can shake your identity. But when you tie your worth to discipline, integrity, and devotion to the work, something changes. You become harder to break. Because no outcome can take away the fact that you showed up fully. Here is the shift. Do not wake up asking, will this pay off? Wake up asking, can I meet the work with seriousness today? That question is cleaner, healthier, stronger. Let the result arrive later. Your task is to become fully available to the process now. That is where peace lives. That is where mastery grows. That is where real transformation begins. Number 7, embrace death. Live with urgency and purpose. Most people live as if time is generous, as if there will always be another year, another chance, another conversation, another season to finally begin. So they postpone. They delay the work. They delay the truth. They delay the apology. They delay the risk. They delay their real life until a future that never feels close enough to demand courage now. And beneath all of it lives a dangerous lie. There is still plenty of time. Marcus Aurelius shattered that lie with brutal clarity. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, what you say, and what you think. Not one day, not eventually. Right now. That is not meant to terrify you. It is meant to wake you up, because mortality clarifies. It burns away trivia. It exposes delay. It reveals how much of human life is wasted in hesitation. The Stoics practiced Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. Not to become morbid, to become honest. Because once you truly accept that your time is limited, you begin to see what deserves your life and what does not. You stop treating days like they are replaceable. You stop living inside automatic habits that keep you numb. You stop spending your best hours on shallow distraction, petty ego battles, and people who drain your spirit. You begin to ask better questions. If this day mattered, how would I live it? If this conversation were my last with them, how would I speak? If these years do not return, why am I spending them like this? That is where urgency becomes sacred. Not frantic, not panicked, clear. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it." That line cuts deeply because it is true. A wasted life is not only one that ends too soon, it is one spent postponing what mattered most. One day, the morning you keep delaying your life in will be gone. One day, the people you assume will always be there will not be there. One day, your body will no longer move the way it does now. One day, the version of you that could have acted, created, loved, forgiven, and changed will exist only as possibility never used. That is the tragedy, not death itself. Misused life. The business you keep delaying. The truth you keep swallowing. The forgiveness you keep postponing. The discipline you keep promising to begin next month. These things do not remain neutral. Delay shapes destiny too. The Stoic does not look away from death. He lets death teach him how to live. To speak more truthfully, to love more bravely, to work with more sincerity, to stop bargaining with the clock as if time owes him more. This is not a rehearsal. This is your life, not the draft, not the warm-up, not the waiting room, the real thing. So live like time is precious because it is. Live like moments disappear because they do. Live like your choices matter because they do. And when death comes, as it will for all of us, meet it knowing you did not spend your one life asleep. That is Memento Mori. Not fear of death. Respect for time. And when you live that way, something changes. Your life becomes less scattered, less performative, less afraid. You stop wasting energy trying to look alive and start living for real. Think about this carefully. If you knew that this was the last ordinary year of your life, what would suddenly stop mattering? Which arguments would feel embarrassing? Which grudges would feel too heavy to keep carrying? Which delays would become impossible to justify? You already know. You would move faster, love more honestly, create more courageously, forgive more quickly, and care far less about being approved of. That is the gift of Memento Mori. It does not give you more time. It teaches you to stop wasting the time you have. Every morning you open your eyes is not guaranteed. Treat it with reverence. Number 8. Be a warrior for virtue, not approval. Let us be honest. Most people do not betray themselves all at once. They do it gradually. A small lie to avoid discomfort, a watered-down truth to stay liked, a compromised standard to stay included, a silence where courage was needed. That is how character erodes, not through one dramatic collapse, but through 1,000 small surrenders to approval. People live for praise, for attention, for applause, for signs that they are accepted, admired, wanted. And beneath all of it is one desperate question: what will they think of me? The Stoic asks a better question: what is right? That question changes everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest does not matter." There is enormous freedom in that, because the need to be approved of is one of the most elegant forms of slavery. It looks harmless, even normal. But once your peace depends on being liked, you will start negotiating with your values. You will soften truth to avoid rejection. You will perform strength instead of building it. You will shape your life around what earns applause, not around what deserves your loyalty. That is not freedom. That is dependence in refined clothing. The Stoic refuses that trap. He chooses virtue over image, integrity over impression, truth over approval. He keeps his word even when it costs him. He speaks honestly even when silence would protect his reputation. He does the work even when no one notices. That is virtue, not perfection, alignment. It is when your private standards and public actions stop being strangers to each other. That is what makes a person trustworthy. That is what makes a life solid. And it matters most when it is difficult. Because doing the right thing is rarely convenient. It is easier to lie than to tell a truth that may cost you. It is easier to be impressive than to be sincere. It is easier to follow the crowd than to stand alone inside your convictions. But every time you choose principle over comfort, something strengthens. You respect yourself more. You become someone your future self does not have to apologize for. That kind of identity cannot be handed to you. It has to be earned. And once earned, it becomes very hard for the world to corrupt. Not your boss, not your audience, not your fear, not your loneliness, not the pressure to belong. Seneca wrote, "I will govern my life and my thoughts as if the whole world were to see the one and to read the other." That is not performance. That is inner cleanliness. It means you do not need two selves, one for display, one for secrecy. You live in such a way that your inner life and outer life do not have to contradict each other. In a world obsessed with image, that is rare. In a world addicted to performance, that is power. The Stoic does not ask, "How do I look?" He asks, "What am I becoming?" That is the deeper battle. Because talent can impress, money can attract, status can amplify, but none of those things can make you whole. Only character can do that. The person who can no longer be bribed by praise or frightened by disapproval becomes inwardly free. And that freedom has gravity. People trust it, not because it is loud, because it is real. There is something deeply compelling about a human being who no longer needs the crowd's permission to stand upright. Do not live for praise. Live so that if every title disappeared, every follower vanished, every reward was removed, you would still be able to respect the person in the mirror. That is a life built on truth. That is a life the world cannot easily take from you. Even if you walk alone, walk cleanly. Even if no one claps, do what is right. Even if it costs you comfort, status, or belonging, choose the thing that lets you remain whole inside. Virtue is quiet. It does not advertise itself. It does not beg to be noticed. It simply refuses to rot. And when you live from that place, your relationships deepen. Because people trust someone who no longer needs to pretend. Your work deepens because you are building from conviction, not hunger for attention. Your peace deepens because your worth is no longer rented from other people's opinions, and your life becomes unmistakably yours. That is the Stoic way, not popularity. Integrity, not performance. Principle, not applause. Character. If you have made it this far, understand something. You did not stay because you were bored. You stayed because something in you is tired of surface-level living, tired of distraction, tired of compromise, tired of being pulled around by emotion, comfort, fear, and approval. Something in you wants to become steadier, more disciplined, more honest, more inwardly free. That is what this path offers, not perfection, not ease, not constant happiness, a stronger center, a mind that does not collapse every time life becomes difficult, a life that belongs to you because it is built on principle. And now you have the blueprint. Discomfort taught you not to run from what makes you stronger. Emotion taught you not to obey every inner storm. Unfairness taught you to move without bitterness. Control taught you where your real authority lives. Hardship taught you to train early, before life forces you to. Process taught you to love the work more than the applause. Death taught you that delay is expensive. And virtue taught you that a soul anchored in principle cannot be easily owned. 8 laws, not decoration, not theory, tools for hard living, tools for clear thinking, tools for staying upright when life applies pressure. That is where Stoicism proves itself, not when everything is going well, when things fall apart. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. These men did not write for comfortable times. They wrote for plague, betrayal, pressure, loss, and mortality. They wrote for human beings who needed a way to remain dignified inside suffering. And that is why their words still matter. True strength is not noise. It is not image. It is not status. It is not domination. True strength is the person who keeps their word when breaking it would be easier. The person who faces fear without handing fear the steering wheel. The person who does the right thing even when no one rewards it. So do not wait for motivation. Motivation is unstable. Begin with discipline. Train your mind daily. Welcome necessary struggle. Release outcomes that are not yours. Hold tightly to what is right and live with respect for time. Because time is leaving, whether you notice it or not. The beautiful thing is this. You do not need applause to do any of it. You do not need to be understood. You do not need to be admired. You only need the courage to begin and the honesty to continue. So, write this below if it is true. I am becoming unshakable, day by day. Not as performance, as commitment. And if one of these laws met you where you needed it most, tell me which one. If this kind of depth is what you have been seeking, stay with Stoic Ocean. This is for people who are done living on the surface. People who want more than comfort, more than distraction, more than approval. People who want clarity, discipline, meaning. As you go back into your life, remember this. The hard days are training. The failures are instruction. The losses are not the end of your story. Everything is shaping you, but only if you show up consciously. Only if you choose strength over avoidance. Only if you keep walking when the path is quiet, dark, and unseen. That is how a human being becomes difficult to break.